So today, on this gorgeous winter afternoon on the outskirts of Denver, Colorado, I want to talk about the 1964 movie Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. Woo, man! I mean, if you are a fan at all of kaiju movies, of monster flicks, of Godzilla flicks, I mean, and if you haven't seen Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, you got to see it, because I mean, there are so many firsts in this movie. I mean, the movie just was a turning point in my eyes for Godzilla flicks and for Godzilla movies. Now, quick synopsis. Let me give a quick overview of the movie itself. I mean, the movie is I mean, it's a little bit different too of a story, which is kind of nice, because they kind of changed up the story from what you were kind of getting used to starting to see. They were getting into this you know, this sort of routine of telling, you know, recycling kind of the same or similar story. This one starts off with this princess from another country, from this small country, and she is on her way to Japan. There's an assassination attempt on her life. The plane is blown up. Her plane is blown up, and everyone thinks that she's dead. Anyway, shortly thereafter, there's this mysterious woman who looks just like her, who shows up in Japan, and who's just talking this crazy stuff. She's saying that she's from the planet Venus. She's talking about Godzilla coming up out of the water, and she's making like these predictions. She makes this prediction about Rodan making a comeback. This is the first time we've seen Rodan in a long time, since the first Rodan movie, really. And there were two Rodans in that movie, and one of the Rodans actually comes back out of the crater that everyone thought he was dead in. And so she makes a prediction that Rodan's gonna come back, and so they start battling, and then there's this new threat from outer space she starts talking about, and that is none other than the arch nemesis of Godzilla, King Ghidorah. Oh my goodness, Mothra's all up in here too. You know, I mean, the humans, they reach out to Mothra because they're like, Mothra, hey, we need to, can you help us out? And in terms of firsts of the movie, wow, like I said, there were just so many firsts in the movie. I mean, for one, this is the first time that you actually see monsters, you actually see kaiju talking to one another. They're actually talking. And obviously they're not talking in English or in a language that you can understand, but they are actually communicating with one another in an intelligent way.
今なんて言ってるんです。
説得していますが、なかなか聞き入れてくれそうもないんです。争いをやめて、みんなで力を合わせて地球をキングギドラの暴力から守ろうと言っています。ゴジラもラドンも賛成したの？いいえ、ゴジラもラドンも俺たちの知ったことか。
Oh man, I mean, you haven't seen that before in any other kaiju movies. This is the first time you actually see monsters teaming up with one another. Monsters are actually getting together on the same team to fight a threat. This is the first time that you actually start to see Godzilla turn from a destructor of humanity's creations and buildings and things like that, and kind of a disregard for humanity, to actually coming to the aid of humanity. And he does so with some reluctance. You know, he's not like all hardcore about it, but Mothra is the one who convinces him, and he really does it to save Mothra versus to save humanity or the humans. But he will start to turn in this direction, you know, as you go forward in time. And man, I mean, those are a bunch of firsts. Another first This is the first time you actually have a Godzilla movie without Godzilla's name in the title of the movie. And this movie was called Ghidrah, the three-headed monster. Even in the US, it was marketed as Ghidrah, the three-headed monster. They kind of took out the Ghidorah, they put in the Ghidrah. And no mention of Godzilla, but Godzilla's obviously in the movie. So, man, a lot of firsts with this movie. I mean, there are negatives, as I mentioned. I mean, the movie, the storyline wise, I mean, the whole storyline about this princess and her surviving this plane bombing, and that she's from Venus, and is she not? I mean, they try to kind of quickly wrap up that story, but it's just done so quick and just done so weakly that, you know, there's just so many loose ends when it comes to the princess's story, in my eyes anyway. But beyond that, man, the movie was just great. And you know what, here's something I want to say to all the people who are not monster movie people. There's a lot of people out there who are just like, man, I don't want to watch a bunch of monsters fighting each other. When people think that these movies are nothing but an hour and a half of monsters fighting each other, and that's not the case. That really isn't the case. I mean, there's story that's part of these movies.
私は金星人。
とぼけては困ります。あなたはセルジア公国の王女だ。
そういうものは知らん。それより、あなた方はすぐにここを立ち去らねばなりません。すぐに。
確かめる必要はないでしょう。やっちまったらどうなんです。
待て。ここはセルジアではないのだ。芝居をしているのなら思い出すようにするまでだ。
But if you're not a kaiju fan, man, I'd recommend checking them out, because it's not just this battle royale between a whole bunch of gigantic monsters. So anyway, with that, again, if you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. Check it out. 1964's Ghidrah, the three-headed monster. So with that, my friends, my people, keep watching them movies with a critical eye and a respect for the craft. Yeah, this is Super Pheed. See, Ghidrah is so mean.
There comes Godzilla.
There comes Godzilla. Oh, poor Mothra. Look, now Godzilla's mad. He's like, hey, leave Mothra alone.
There's Rodan.
There's Rodan too. Oh my goodness.
Where are they going?
Well, they're gonna try and go around the other side. To see what's going on. Look! Oh! He's shocking Godzilla! Oh, Godzilla's mad now.
Who is so mad?
He's very mad.
Can you do the music?
Dun 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 dun. Oh my goodness!